Welcome back to Tribe Talk Tuesday.
It's a little bit of a different setting today for our podcast. We decided to do more of a video.
So we're transitioning to just audio to video, only because we thought that will be a little bit more of engaging with you guys. Since now you guys can see who's talking or what our faces are while we're discussing these facial expressions while we discuss these interesting topics.
Yeah, so we're super excited to see how it goes. Let us know if you prefer the video type podcast or if you'd rather have us just do audio because you just maybe really hate our faces.
Yeah, and it will really help us as, to hear your feedbacks. You know, yeah, if you guys appreciate the video, please let us know in the comment down below.
Today's topic is traveling.
And the reason we kind of came up with this topic is because Bern and I actually just came back from vacationing in Europe. We had a little Euro trip for a while.
Several countries. Yeah,
and it was so much fun, but it was also a lot of planning and preparing, and it was just we expected a lot different, I guess. But me personally my expectations were a lot different than when we got there. Mostly good. Nothing bad happened. So we just wanted kind of to talk about it, and if anyone out there is interested in going to Europe and traveling, then maybe this will help you out in, preparing it.
Yes. So you guys recently just got back, but when did you guys decided this plan? Like, how long was that ago? Just to give like a timeline for people that you guys, because right now we're in March.
Yeah.
So when did you guys started planning this?
Well, Bern initially was the one who wanted to go to Europe. She already had plans and whatever to travel, and she was gonna travel by herself. And then me and Bern became friends, and she was bringing up, oh, I'm gonna do this, and I was like, oh my god, I've always wanted to go to Europe, but I never really had someone to go with, and I never really pushed myself to really do it. And so then we're like, oh, why don't we just go together? And so we decided to go together and plan it and see what happened. And I think that was around September where we decided
I think
we were gonna go.
Decided in September, but we didn't really start. It didn't become a definite thing until probably October.
Yeah,
because that's when we got
our tickets. But we had started talking about it in September and going on Pinterest and Pinteresting stuff and things like that. But the plan didn't actually start going into motion until about October.
Okay. So that's October, November, December, January. So about 4 months. Would you guys say that's kind of you need that kind of amount of time to prepare for a travel trip like this? Was that enough of a planning? Was it?
It was. I think 90% of our trip was plans.
Right.
But then while we were there, we finished up the itinerary while we were there.
Right. So we booked a lot of because while we're in Europe, we're traveling to different countries and places. So we traveled a lot by trains and buses and stuff. So a lot of those things we purchased ahead of time, those tickets. And the same for hostels. So we stayed at hostels out there, which were great. Don't believe stories you hear. There are some pretty skeevy hostels, but a lot of them are actually really good.
Yeah, you just have to look at reviews and stuff. Obviously, you don't want to go to one where a majority of the people are like, oh my god, this place is terrible. You want to go somewhere where at least 70% of the people had a good time there.
And just for the viewers who are watching this that doesn't really know the difference or what a hostel is, what is the difference between staying at a hostel versus staying at Airbnb or a hotel?
So, a hotel, you definitely get your own room. A hostel, when you book a hostel, sometimes your own private room is there's none open. An Airbnb, the same thing, you get your own room and it's like someone's house maybe. A hostel is more of like a community thing.
Yeah, a lot of backpackers go there.
Yeah. So when you go there, you can either pick like a dorm, or you can pick a private room, or you can pick a private room that like doesn't have a bathroom, so you share the bathroom with other people.
Okay.
We kind of had a mix when we went. We had like hostels where we had our own bathroom. We had hostels where we
Had to share
bathrooms,
which was interesting.
Yeah, we didn't do the dorms, only because we had a lot of stuff with us. I feel like if you don't have a lot of stuff with you, like definitely
Then
try a
dorm.
dorm because you'll just meet a ton of people. I mean, even at hostels we met so many solo travelers, and it's just nice to like see.
Yeah, meet
Their
different
style of
people, and like everyone's kind of like on their own path, you know? And it was just very interesting to see like all these people who are like traveling Europe and backpacking through Europe and hearing like their stories and their experiences and places they've gone to visit. It was really cool to see like, oh my god, all these people are doing all these cool things, and they were just all so nice.
Would you guys say that's part of the adventure? It's like staying into like hostels where you potentially meet other people who are also traveling. Did that add up to the adventure of traveling?
A little bit. I mean, yeah, if you get a hotel, it's like it's just you and the person, or just you, I don't know, whoever is getting a hotel. It's like just you. As much as you can like meet people on the streets or something, it's like you go to your room and then that's it.
And it just made it more fun too, like meeting
Yeah.
people our age who are doing like all these cool things, and everyone's just there to have fun and
There's
just
also
chill.
pricing too.
What?
Pricing.
Oh yeah, pricing too. Like hostels are very cheap.
Yeah.
Like I think we paid like maybe like $30-40 a night or something like that.
Yeah,
Euros,
about
whatever.
like maybe the most was like 50 a night each.
So you definitely save a lot of money.
As comparison to hotel,
Yeah,
like
to
how much would
hotel.
that cost estimatedly?
Maybe like 100 something a
Yeah.
night,
Okay.
depending where you stay.
Again, it depends on like the hotel.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously, if you're gonna go to like a 1-star hotel, then yeah, you're gonna probably pay as much as like a private room in like a nice hostel.
Yeah, and I remember you guys were also saying like how it's funny because like when you guys were telling people that you guys stayed at a hostel, everybody had like, what, you guys did that?
Yes. Oh my god, people were like freaking out.
And so maybe there's a difference between, I don't know, you think there's a difference between like American hostel like here versus like in Europe?
Well, I don't
Is there
know
a
American
difference?
hostel. I wouldn't.
Because like where did they get that notion of like
Because
hostels
have you guys
are-
ever seen the horror movie Hostel?
Oh.
If you watch that movie, that
Uh-huh.
does not give hostels a very good rep.
Mm.
But I'm sure like when the hostels first started out, they were probably a little, maybe not the best.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like throughout the years, more people, especially backpackers who are just traveling through Europe and maybe not have the most money, they've kind of like made it into a thing, and they've made the hostels a lot nicer. Like you go in there, it looks like a hotel pretty much.
Yeah.
And they have like bars in there, and it's pretty chill. But I feel like like movies like Hostel did not give hostels a good rep, and because I know people who would come to me like, oh my god, have you ever seen the movie Hostel? And you're gonna go stay at a hostel, you're gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, no, it's not that serious.
Yeah, it's actually really nice. Hostels are awesome. If like I said, if I didn't have a bunch of stuff with me and just like a backpack, I would totally sleep in like a dorm at a hostel because
Right.
it's just, again, it's back to like if you go to a hostel that's not rated very well, obviously you're gonna expect maybe some negative things. But if you go to a hostel that's like everyone's like, oh, it's amazing here, I'm sure it's
Right,
really
and
amazing
that's like another thing that we learned too, traveling Europe, is the next time that we do decide to go out there, we're definitely not gonna have a lot of stuff with us.
there. Yeah, no.
Because there's a lot of like traveling through like the metros and trains and stuff like that. So we have like our luggages and our duffel, and it was just like so much of a hassle to like carry all that stuff around, because obviously you wanted to be cute for like pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
Picture for the gram.
Yeah, I'm doing it for the gram. So it was definitely like the next time I'd probably go with a lot less stuff. to make
Yeah.
things a lot easier
Yeah, definitely.
because it was just
The next backpack, the next trip will be backpack.
like
So-
legitimate
right.
backpacking.
So before you guys talk about like where you guys went and stuff, can you guys talk a little bit about the planning of how did you set that that itinerary of like this is where we're gonna go first and then this is gonna be the second? Like, was there like a strategic kind of reason of connecting like where to go next and stuff?
Yeah, I would say Bern was the planner because like I've gone on vacations and stuff, but usually when I've gone on vacations it was more like, oh, we'll figure it out when we get there, but again we would stay in one specific spot. I've never traveled somewhere where we were traveling to multiple places within that vacation, so I didn't really know exactly all the preparation that it took to do it. But Bern was like mad, like, I got this, like, we're going to this place, I'm gonna take this train, I'm gonna find that hostel, so I feel like she'd be able to answer that question better than I could.
Well, I mean, when it comes to planning, you have to know where you're going and how many days and give yourself some time. So I think the first thing that me and Angie did was agree on what places we want to go to. So our ticket to get there was to London, and then we knew to get back we were leaving from Paris.
Yeah, so we had like that already like set up.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we knew we were staying for like 16, 17 days, so we had to figure out which countries we can cover within those days to get from London to Paris. So yeah, me and Angie decided we wanted to do London, Scotland, Amsterdam, Belgium. Luxembourg was like a last minute decision, and then Paris, obviously get to Paris. So we decided those countries because it basically made like a circle, and those are all countries that people tell you, oh, you could kind of do it in like
A day or 2 days.
yeah, like Amsterdam was like, oh, you could stay there for like 2 days. Belgium was like, oh, you know, 3 days is okay. So that's how I planned it. It was like a big circle, and then you just decide in each country how many days you want to stay there, and then you go, and then I don't like to like make too much of an itinerary.
And what's gonna happen, yeah.
Angie saw the itinerary. It was like I just put places that we would like to see, but the only things that were really like a definite thing were the hostel and how we're gonna get to the next place.
Okay.
The other planning was just very like, hey Ange, where do you want to go, or where do I want to go?
Yeah.
And then if it makes it in our day, then we can do that. It was more like a sightseeing trip.
Okay.
The only thing that was like really planned was like the tour around Scotland. That had to be planned. At first I was like wanting me and Angie to do it alone, but then I just heard like horror stories.
Yeah. Because it's like all mountains.
Yeah.
And you have to like really drive through there, and it would just.
Yeah,
it
you
would
could
have
get
been a lot.
lost. Sometimes like Google Maps will like take
No
you somewhere
service,
else, and
yeah.
like knowing that we only had 4 days, and then we had to like get to Amsterdam. I didn't want there to be any stress of like, okay, we got lost, now we gotta get home and get to this plane that we're taking to Amsterdam on like this day.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, it's a pretty much open itinerary, as with any road trip. I feel like any road trip should be open.
Just figure out where it is that you want
Yeah.
to go see, and then kind of figure it out from there and map it out.
Right. But yeah, the only thing that I really had to plan for was the times that we would be leaving. I made sure we had enough time when it was time to switch countries, that we had enough time to like, okay, we're gonna come back from this tonight, so then early tomorrow morning we can leave. But it's not like we're leaving at nighttime, because there was definitely like tickets that you can leave at nighttime, But then it's like, what if you have a lot of fun during the day, and then like, oh damn it, at 7 o'clock I gotta go to the airport, or
that's kind of like what happened with us in Scotland. Like we were supposed to go and hop on our plane to Amsterdam, and our flight was like 5 in the morning or something like that, 6 in the morning, and we were out at like a bar and we were just having so much fun, and we were like, oh, imagine if we would have had to go like right after, we wouldn't have been able to enjoy like the rest of the night like we did. And we literally like went to the airport like an hour before our flight, and we were fine.
So you just give yourself enough time to like get to your next destination. Just have all the places that you're staying at picked out. As fun as it would be to kind of just like find a place, I think we knew we wanted a private room. So if you're a backpacker, I think it's totally easy to just like not book anything.
Yeah, and just do it on the spot. A lot of people were doing
and then
that,
just like find a hostel and get a dorm. But when you know you want like a private room, I think it has to be a little more planned.
There's like definitely places where we wished we stayed longer, which was cool that we got to experience it, because then we got to figure out what we really enjoyed doing like while we were traveling, because we noticed like places like London and Amsterdam, not that we didn't have fun there, but they were very like city-like, and we wanted more like nature, scenic stuff, which is why like with Scotland we were obsessed with it. We like fell in love with Scotland. We wish we would have stayed there longer, but it's like now we know for the next time, like when we do go and travel, we can pick like those kind of places. Even though like it was great to experience the places that we were able to experience, it was still a lot of fun. But we learned what we were really more like into.
I think like a Euro trip is definitely something people should do.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun. But yeah, I think what Angie said, I think like in the future, personally, I would like to do more nature trips.
Me too.
Than like travel from city to city. But I mean, everyone's different.
Right.
But I think a Euro trip is something everyone should do.
I think that's where like the expectation comes from. It's like when you hear other people's experience with a trip, you know, for other people, they probably find Amsterdam or like the city like London be more, like that's what they like to do. And then obviously like the reality of it is when you get there, then you start to feel like, oh, okay, I'm actually more craving more nature than like, you know.
Yeah, it depends like what you're going out there to do. If you're more of the type of person who, you know, likes to party and have like that kind of fun and go to all these like major landscapes or different famous places to go visit that people normally go to visit, then yeah, like do like London, do Amsterdam, because those are definitely like a lot of stuff like goes on like party wise, especially Amsterdam is a little wild.
I was telling Andy that Amsterdam is like, I don't want to say it's like New York, but it's almost like a European New York.
Just a little bit. I feel like it's a little bit more intense.
Well, the vibe is very like, when you're in Amsterdam, you just see a bunch of young people, and you know the vibe when you're going in.
Yeah, for sure. You already know like what to expect when you go to Amsterdam.
Right. It's just so it reminded me a little bit of New York, but in a like very young but European-esque way. Amsterdam was fun.
I felt my age for sure.
There was.
How young is young? Like these people?
Like I guess our age, maybe even younger.
No, way young. Like
it was definitely.
I feel like there's people like early 20s. A lot of people like maybe 18, 19 because of the legal age and stuff. There is a lot younger.
I would say a majority of the tourists are probably, from what we saw, like 18 to 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
When you're walking around at night, like that's what you see. It's like young people.
You saw a lot. We'll leave it at that. Maybe we'll do like a story time.
Story time.
But yeah, like I was saying, if that's what you're into, then those places are perfect for you. You would have so much fun. Not to say that we didn't have fun, because we did. But if you're more into like nature and hiking and beautiful scenery, like picturesque scenery, like literally everything is a picture in Scotland, then yeah, you want to do those type of places. You might not be too much into like the whole Amsterdam scene or the London scene. So yeah, so I would figure out what you're into and what it is that you want to see, and then from there kind of plan out where you want to go.
Right.
So it seems like from base of like what you guys were talking about, I was gonna ask what was your favorite spot. But I think we're kind of getting a hint of what this is.
Ready? Scotland!
What about Scotland? You guys find so beautiful.
What not about
I mean,
Scotland?
I've heard, you guys have mentioned to me before that you want to go back and like take more days back to Scotland.
Yeah, because
So
there's
what
definitely a
about
lot more
Scotland?
to see.
The landscape. It's
so
just
beautiful.
I don't know. There's like a energy when you're there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even talking about the city because we stayed in the city for one night.
Mm-hmm.
But when we did the tour to go up north in Scotland, I don't know. It's just there's like not a lot of people. There's just like animals walking around.
Yeah.
And it's like beautiful.
And we just
It's
had the
beautiful.
best experience out there. Like, and we met like some really awesome people. Like the people were so nice.
Yeah.
Like our tour that we went on, our tour guide was amazing.
Yeah. Highland experience.
Highland experience for sure. Shout out to Brian. But he was awesome. Like he knew what he was talking about. He went out of his way to go and show us places that wasn't even part of the tour, which was really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so much fun. It was just so beautiful. Like literally, like I said before, everything was a picture. Like everywhere you turn, it's like, oh my god, that's beautiful. It's just so beautiful. Even the city. When we went to the city, we stayed one night in Edinburgh. It was just so beautiful. Like the architecture, it was just like everywhere. I was like, oh my god. I was like in awe. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like this, just so much. Like it was overwhelming, but in a good way. And like we met awesome people. The bars out there were so chill. Like it was just it was just such a different experience. It was so refreshing.
It is like a different energy.
Yeah.
And I just definitely liked it more for the landscapes. And
Yeah.
stuff. There's just something about being out there.
Mm-hmm.
No one was there.
It was just like
It was so beautiful.
you
And
being
nature.
one with nature, and
Yeah.
it's just so different from what you see back home.
Yeah. Not to
And-
say that like America doesn't have pretty
Oh
places.
no, yeah, we do, but it was just like a whole other experience. It's really hard to like explain. Like with me, like one of my biggest like dream vacations, for those who don't know, is going to New Zealand, just because of how beautiful it is. Obviously, too, Lord of the Rings was filmed there. Blah blah blah. We're not gonna get into that, but it felt like that, like pictures that I've seen of like New Zealand, and so I felt like it was preparation for me to do ever go to New Zealand. It just made me even more excited to visit more, places like that. And it was just so pretty because you get bored of the city when you're living and out here in the city all the time sometimes.
I think it's also just like the landscape is so different. Like even obviously here we have mountains and stuff, but
Yeah.
over there it's a different kind of terrain that you just see everything.
Yeah.
I don't think we have too much of that around where we live. So when you're there, it's just there's something in the air.
What would be your takeaway after this trip? Like, do you guys feel different? Do you guys feel like you have a better perspective of the world, of how life is? Do you guys feel different? Were you guys expecting something to come out with after this trip?
It definitely sparked the traveling bug in me, for sure. Because I've always wanted to travel, and like I said, I've gone to places before, but never anything like this, where it was like pure just like traveling to all these places and like experiencing different places, foods, how people's like cultures are, how different it is out there. So it definitely like made me want to learn more about other places and go experience other places. So yeah, it definitely opened up my horizons and want to experience new things that are out there, because there's just so much to see.
Yeah.
And I do feel like, well, just in the past like year or so in general, I feel like I've changed a lot as a person, and I feel like coming back from Europe, I felt that even more, and I'm like comfortable being more independent and doing things for myself. So I think that helped me understand that a lot more too.
I didn't really feel too different. I do know what I like more now. Nature trips. I think the only thing I just got from it was what kind of trips I want to do in the future, and I just want to like be a travel nomad.
I feel like for me it was just very introspective. Like especially like, I think that's why I love Scotland so much, because I felt when we were there and we were like up in the mountains and I was able to like really appreciate the scenery, and I feel like it really like, I don't know how to explain it, like it was just like wow. Like I didn't expect to be so like in awe of something.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of made me think like, wow, like there's a lot of beautiful things to see out in like in the world, and it's like I want to be able to say I experienced a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it definitely like made me think a lot about things I wasn't thinking about before.
Yeah. Yeah. Just it kind of, if you do like traveling, it kind of pushes you, I guess.
Yeah.
Not pushes you. I mean, it motivated me to want to make my dreams come true.
If you have traveling in mind, it's not a bad idea to do that, because I feel like for some people, they like to contain themselves inside a box, and they feel like there's really nothing, there's not much out there for them to increase their perspective or explore. But I feel like if you go through these kind of trips and like you see that there's so much more out there, it just, I feel like, I mean, for me, I've never actually like traveled like that, but I feel like for me, it will just like give you like a whole perspective of like life. There's like so much things in life, and you know, you don't have to limit yourself into thinking that this is all you can do, or like this is how far you can get.
Right. And I'm glad like you brought that up, because I've always felt like life was just like, okay, you finish school, you get your job, you get married, you have kids, that's it, that's life. You know, and I feel like a lot of times you're brought up to really think that, and you don't really hear too many people be like, oh yeah, go out and travel, forget all of that stuff, you know, explore the world. I feel like a lot of times I hear like, oh, when are you gonna get married, when are you gonna have kids, you know, the clock is ticking and all that stuff. But to me, I'm just like, I feel like my question to other people is like, go out and travel, go explore before you settle down. And not to say that you can't do those things when you're married or when you have kids, but I feel there's just a lot of whole different kind of responsibility at the same time too. And doing it on your own, it's just so, it feels so good, and I feel like there's so much growth in you as a person when you start traveling, you do those things on your own. Yeah. And you're just like, no, like, I want to travel before I really think about like settling down and getting married. I want to get to know myself as a person and what I like to do and what I enjoy, and explore that more.
There's just so much to see in the world that it's like, why stay where you are?
Yeah, like
it says a lot of a person to when you hear them saying like, oh, they're planning to have like a trip, especially like when you guys are talking about it, and then you guys actually go there and actually did it, and you're out there and you're exploring, you're getting so much more views about what the world is and stuff. And it's just like, now when I look at that, when I look at the two of you guys, I'm like, oh my god, you guys actually did that, and it's quite like an achievement to actually do that too. So like you need to allow yourself to do that for yourself, and like self-growth and stuff, and like just do something.
Yeah, and I honestly didn't think it was that big of a deal until people started telling me like, oh my god, like you went to Europe, you did all of this stuff, and I was just like, yeah.
But it just like, shows that like now.
It was just so weird because I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
Right.
Okay, lies. I was super excited. Yeah, it's a big deal. Not a lot of people are able or fortunate to do that. But at the same time, I was just like, oh, yeah, I'm just going on vacation. I'm just traveling.
Just a trip.
It was just a trip. But for some people, it's just like, wow, you actually went out and you stayed at hostels and you backpacked in Europe. Like, that's so crazy. Like, that's so cool that you did that. And I didn't think it was like this whole big thing.
Right. But it's just to show
But
that,
it's
like,
just, interesting.
it's quite interesting.
It's cool. Yeah.
Go to Scotland.
yeah, it's a must.
Yes, go to Scotland for sure. You won't regret it. So that was our trip.
Yep. If you guys like this conversation, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. And yeah, please don't forget. Let us know. Give us a comment down below if you like this new setup.
If you like this more video.
Tuesday kind of like that.
Yeah. And if you have any questions about traveling or anything like that, leave them down below. Or if you have any recommendations of places that we should go visit, definitely let us know that.
Or if you guys want us to do a video more of like
a
specific
story time
or like trips and tips and like actually trips, like with the whole planning and stuff. I know we touched a little bit about that, but not so much in details. But if you guys want that,
Space muffin story time.
Space muffin story time. Yeah, we definitely have a lot of stories.
Yeah,
while we're out there.
But anyways, you guys, thank you for watching and supporting our Time Talk Tuesday. And we'll see you next week on a new topic. See you guys. Bye.